Welcome back. Well, we're at day 2, Norway, the price we pay, Jehovah's Witness appeal. So we're into day 2. We're going to look at day 2 from Avoid JW. And Avoid JW, we'll put a link to all of this in the descriptions below. We want to give them a big thank you for all the work they do in providing the news. And the picture we're looking at is Risdale. And this is the counsel for the Jehovah's Witnesses, this guy, and then here's some of his other lawyers with them, those young guys. And the women lawyers are the lawyers for Norway. The women lawyers. What's their names? Including Christian Foss, Anders Risdale, shaking hands with Kristen Halso Arvik. Don't know if I said that all right, but that's kind of what's happening in the picture above me. This is the courtroom. Okay, so this is published by Miss Usato. Last updated was February 4th, just a few days ago. And it says there, we remind you that the state must protect those who opt out and those who do not. If one is in danger of losing family and networks, and if dealing with these is sanctioned, government attorney Christian Hallos Arvok. Now, Oslo, Norway, on Monday, 9 a.m., February 4th, 2025, the trial between Government of Norway and Jehovah's Witnesses continued in the Borgarting Court of Appeals, courtroom K31. Now, the Jehovah's Witness views and behaviors. Before the state turns for the opening argument, a journalist from Dagen, a Norwegian newspaper, was turned down many times from interviewing Jehovah's Witnesses, except for one couple, Magnus and Marie-Louise Dahlberg, who hoped for a favorable outcome for the organization. Now, the couple emphasized that the case affects our everyday lives and expressed concerns that it could complicate their missionary work if the state wins. And the Dahlbergs stressed the importance of regaining their community's registration, believing it would help counter prejudices against them. And we are naturally concerned that people have a correct picture of who we are. I think that's important. What do you guys think? And I think that the more we see Jehovah's Witness lawyers lying in court about shunning, when we all know what shunning really is, when we see them do that, it really brings out this statement. We're naturally concerned that people have the correct picture of who Jehovah's Witnesses are. So they said it themselves. This is what this is going to do, this court. It is doing, has done. In fact, it's changed their religion. You can wear a beard now. Women can wear pants. It's changed this religion, this court case. It's amazing. How public opinion can sway a religion. You see, this is not God. This is just how it should be. This is just law. People should not be able to do what Jehovah's Witnesses are allowed to do and be called a charity and be given money. So this is what's going on. It's all about state money. That's what they're fighting for, really. Now, this lady, she says, we're naturally concerned that people have a correct picture of who we are, they stated. You can find the Dagen article in the link in the bar tab. Now, a friend who's inside the source stated that Jehovah's Witnesses pushed to get in the courtroom first like madmen. Can you believe that? The Jehovah's Witnesses pushed to get into the courtroom first like madmen, even before the proceedings began, possibly so the media nor the journalists could sit in the courtroom and expose today's argument. That's, wow, Jehovah's Witnesses. Shame on you, Norway Jehovah's Witnesses. This is governing body garbage. This is governing body. This is those guys that are hiding in Warwick, the 11 members. They're hiding. They won't come out because they're going to get served. Those guys are going to get served. There's a bunch of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that are going to serve them and subpoena them to court. It's already been approved. So this is what they're doing. They're sending their people in to fill up the courtrooms so the media can't get in. What a tactic. Shame on Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay, well, we're going to do our best to bring this out. We're part of the media, XJW TV. If you haven't smashed that subscribe button, please do. And it helps push these videos out so we can advertise this to the world and show them what's happening. Jehovah's Witnesses want to fill up the courtrooms with people so the journalists can't get in. Let's get these videos out, share them, get them all over the world, and let's let people know what's going on in Norway. Now, here's the state's opening arguments. The Norwegian government attorney, Christian Hallo, I'm just going to say Kristen. I'm not going to pronounce this. She began, and this is the Norwegian lawyer, she began by bringing up a video they showed the court last year, 2024, in the trial. And since then, it has been removed from the organization's site. Remember that? We're going to look at the video in a bit here. And it's titled, Loyally Uphold Jehovah's Judgment. It discusses how the organization treats disfellowship people. And you can find this video in the link bar. And they have a link bar here, and I opened all the links. We're going to take a look at a few of them. So, the defense led by the attorney, Anders Rizdal, I'll say. That's a Jehovah's Witness lawyer. He seemed visibly irritated. And he exclaimed that this video had been removed from the organization's site and was no longer relevant. And the Norwegian lawyer responded that if Watchtower knew the video was wrong, how could they at the same time make a lawsuit against the Norwegian state for using the video as evidence of something wrong in 2021? The judge allowed the video to be played. We're going to play it. So Arvik argued strongly against the Jehovah's Witness exclusion practice, the Norwegian lawyer, asserting that they prevent members from freely withdrawing from the religious community without consequences using Jehovah's Witness literature. And she cited the September 1981 Watchtower on disfellowshipping to illustrate how expelled members are shunned. So here it is in italics. The Bible shows that one cannot go to the beach, join in a game, or enjoy a meal with an expelled person. No one who is a Jehovah's Witness would greet such a person. So the lawyer emphasized that the government is not interpreting religious texts, but is concerned with the real world impact of exclusion. And she stated, the state is concerned with how Jehovah's Witnesses treat members who resign or expelled, not the religious justification for it. And though Arvik did say some excluded members supported the practice and returned, she still stressed, we remind you that the state must protect those who opt out and do not. And if one is in danger of losing family and networks, and if dealing with these is sanctioned. And this is a screenshot. We're going to look at that video in just a second. Well, let's look at it now, because I think we move into another topic. So here's the videos. This is a link in the sidebar. Jehovah's Witnesses quietly remove the shunning. And let's just pull this up and play this.
It feels so good to be with my family and friends. When I'm with the brothers and sisters in our...
Okay, we'll play it from there.
It feels so good to be with my family and friends. When I'm with the brothers and sisters in our congregation, it's the best place I could be. My children and I are so happy now. But it hasn't always been this way. My parents were missionaries when my mom got pregnant with me. Mom and Dad were very zealous, and people just assumed that I would follow in their footsteps. And for a while, I did. I was the model child who was always held up as an example. Sure, the attention boosted my self-confidence, but it also put me under enormous pressure. It was like everyone was watching me, and I couldn't make a mistake. In my mid-teens, I began to feel torn. I liked the truth, but I felt so confined. I didn't tell anyone how I felt. I just pretended everything was all right and went through the motions. I I envied kids who didn't have to live under so many restrictions. And if they got the truth later in life, they got to experience the best of both worlds. I thought maybe things would improve after I graduated high school. But then at my new job, I met Eric. He truly understood me. He made me feel special. And I loved him. I loved him. In many ways, I felt free. For the first time in my life, I could just do what I wanted. It wasn't long before our relationship became intimate. I felt guilt at first, but after a while, it just seemed that this is what two people who love each other do. And I was willing to give up everything for him. Everything. Looking back, my parents tried hard to do the right thing. To do things Jehovah's way. But because I didn't have a hatred for what's bad, I couldn't see anything wrong with my choices. This eventually led me to do things I later regretted. I ended up getting disfellowshipped.
Sonia Erickson has been disfellowshipped.
It crushed my whole family.
Okay, to continue the meeting, we may remember last month's service.
Later, my father explained to me that I couldn't remain in the home because I refused to change my lifestyle. He told me I was having a negative effect on my younger brother and sister. Then I'm out of this house. I was determined to do what I wanted. When I left home that day, all I could think about was Eric. I didn't even care that my parents' hearts were breaking. I didn't think about the devastation and disappointment that I had caused them. I blamed my parents for my situation. I even blamed Jehovah. My family missed me so much, even after all I had done. What helped them to remain loyal to Jehovah for the many years I was disfellowshipped? It was the Bible account of Aaron. Jehovah directly judged 2 of Aaron's sons and put them to death. In this case, Jehovah asked Aaron and his family not to mourn, in order to show the entire nation that they supported Jehovah's judgment. Mom and Dad saw that they needed to be loyal, just like Aaron. They loved me and wanted me to come back to Jehovah. I tried to contact them. I just wanted to talk and to hear their voice. I missed being with my family. And they thought about reaching out to me. But they knew that if they had associated with me, even a little, just to check on me, that small dose of association might have satisfied me. It could have made me think that there was no need to return to Jehovah. I was disfellowshipped for more than 15 years. I had 2 children now, and as time went by, I thought about their future. I thought more and more about returning to Jehovah in the congregation, but I didn't feel worthy.
Psalm 86,
One day, 2 elders stopped by and kindly reminded me that Jehovah wants me to return to him. They showed me Psalm 86, verse 5, where it says that Jehovah is ready to forgive. I thought about that verse the rest of the day. Jehovah is ready to forgive. So I decided to go to the Kingdom Hall for the first time in many years.
Feeling of remorse is healthy. It can move us to take positive steps to correct our mistakes.
It made me realize just how far off track I had gotten. I was determined to qualify for reinstatement. Nearly a year later, my reinstatement was announced to the congregation.
Sonia Erickson is reinstated as one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
I was so happy. The brothers and sisters welcomed me very warmly. Being back together again with my family and Jehovah made me feel so good. I knew this is where I needed to be, and I didn't ever want to leave again. But when I'm alone, I struggle with whether Jehovah has really forgiven me. One time I was so distraught that I called my father for help. He comforted me with the words of Isaiah 1, verse 18, where Jehovah says that our sins, which are like scarlet or crimson cloth, can become white like snow. Then my father related the Bible account of Manasseh. Manasseh did on a grand scale what was bad in Jehovah's eyes to offend him. He even sacrificed his sons in false worship. Eventually, Manasseh genuinely repented, and Jehovah forgave him. This Bible account touched me deeply. Now, I have to be willing to forgive myself. If Jehovah was willing to forgive the sins of Manasseh, as bad as they were, surely he has forgiven me. What a blessing to understand that Jehovah forgives in a large way. And now, I'm truly happy.
Okay, so that was the 9-minute video. There is a 3-minute short version video of it that we were not going to watch it. It's the same thing, it's just a smaller video.
Do what I pause them.
Of it.
Talk and to hear their voice.
Anyways, we watched the longer one. Sorry I put you through that, but why do you think, here's the question, while I was watching this video, why do you think the lawyers did not want this video played in court? Why did they fight it? Now, remember, this video was active in 2021 when Jehovah's Witnesses lost their state subsidy. This video was active. So the judge said, yeah, let's play it. You know, even though they pulled it down after they lost their court case. So I looked at this video and I thought it's accurate. It shows the way it is in the shunning. It shows the exclusion. It shows if that lady, that girl, didn't want to go back, her kids, she'd be growing up with her 2 little kids not ever seeing their grandparents. Because it showed how they ignore you. You can't even phone them. They ignore you. I'm dealing with that. Everyone is. Frode Nielsen is dealing with this. Everyone on this side of the fence is dealing with that. That video is so accurate. You see, we don't want to go back. So you're completely shunned. And why is that a problem for the lawyer? Well, here it is. They're right in their state. This is the 2021 report on international religious freedom, Norway, executive summary. While the Constitution prohibits religious discrimination and protects the right to choose, practice, or change one's faith or life stance. Belief in a non-religious philosophy. Let's say you wanted to be a humanist. There's 100,000 humanists in Norway. And it declares the Church of Norway as the county's established church, so on and so on. But that's the point there. It prohibits religious discrimination. If I want to leave that religion, I should not be shunned. It's right in their constitution, or right in their, what do they call it? International Religious Freedom, Norway, 2021. And let's go down here. Legal framework. The Constitution states all individuals shall have the right to free and exercise of religion, and all religious and philosophical communities shall be supported on equal terms. You see, Jehovah's Witnesses demonize every other religion out there, number one. And as soon as you leave their religion and join another religion, this is in the Elders book, you're going to get shunned. You're called disassociated. So the Constitution also states the king shall at all times profess the Lutheran religion. The law further specifies the right of individuals, here it is, to choose or change their faith or life stance, and a person older than 15 has the right to join or leave a religion or a life stance community. And that's Jehovah's Witnesses, right? So that young girl has a right to leave the religion. And parents have the right to decide their child's faith stance before the age 15, but they must take into consideration the views of the children once they reach the age of 7 and give those views priority once they reach age 12. So that's right in their Constitution. The Penal Code specifies penalties, including a fine or imprisonment for up to 6 months for discrimination based on faith or life stance. So Jehovah's Witnesses could go to prison because they are discriminating based on a person's faith or life stance. Right there, it's in their legal framework. And that's the way it should be all over the world. Jehovah's Witnesses could be imprisoned by announcing my name on their platform and discriminating me all over. Someone should be doing jail time, in my opinion. Someone here in Canada should be doing jail time. This has to stop. It's right in this Constitution. Or expressing disrespect for the religious believers or members of religious groups. Isn't that what being a Jehovah's Witness is about? Is running around discrediting all the other religions, disrespecting them, demonizing them? Well, hopefully a lot of this is going to change, folks. Hopefully. Let's go back to the news report here for day 1. So we covered all the way up to the part on the videos that they allowed. The judge said, okay, let's play them. And it shows it. Now let's see what happens. Imagine if I lose my daughter. This is the next thing in court. After the afternoon break, the state presented quotes from Jan Nilsson's pseudonym, Frederick, which he created in 2018, 7 years ago, while he was PMO, physically and mentally out. And they referenced a compelling article by Markinson, a journalist, a Norwegian news outlet covering the religious freedom and critiquing specific religious communities. And in 2018, Markinson wrote an article interviewing Jan. Imagine if I lose my daughter. Like, how many of us have lost our daughter to this religion? Yeah. Now, the article is an emotional journey on his fears of losing his family and friends due to being shunned from one's only lifestyle and community he's known. And the full article is linked Jan Nilsson as Frederick. Imagine if I lose my daughter. Excuse me. Now, the state quoted from the emotional article of Jan saying it hurts to disappoint our parents so much that we are no longer their children. Another powerful statement in the article among many is loyal Christian family members do not look for excuses to have contact with a disfellowshipped relative. Their loyalty to Jehovah and his organization moves them instead to support the biblical disfellowshipping arrangement. Now, members of Jehovah's Witnesses must break contact with family members who are expelled from the congregation. In several articles, we write about what it feels like to choose, to leave, to stay in the congregation. Jan is not alone, and if you are dealing with these challenges, know that you are not alone either. How many people are hiding their true identity? online, we see it. It's tough. It's tough. Now it carries on. The state reinforces the evidence of shunning at hand. Throughout the day, Risdal tried to intervene, interrupting and attempting to talk over the state's arguments, but they did not allow him to phase them. Imagine that, trying to interrupt. He knows he's beat. They just played that video that they took off, banned off their website, trying to change their religion overnight. You can't do that. See, they try to change it like how it looks on the outside. Remember that scripture that says Jesus condemned the Pharisees? He says, you guys are a whitewashed cup. You know, you look good on the outside, but inside you're just full of gangrene and all kinds of disgusting things. This is what's happening here with Jehovah's Witnesses. They have become what they have been preaching. And back in the 80s, that's how I looked at all the other religions. I looked at the Jehovah's Witnesses as a clean religion. It looked clean from the outside. But as I got into it and as I seen things happen, you know, the alcoholism, the elders going haywire with narcissism, all kinds of different things, you know that this is a religion that has all kinds of problems on the inside. And then, you know, now that they start hiding all this pedophilia, worse than the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church at least has come out and said, we have a problem and here's how we fix the problem, and we're gonna pay out everyone that's been affected by our problem. So this is still work in progress, folks, all over the world, but it is coming out. Religions are cleaning themselves up, but not Jehovah's Witnesses. And you see, that's going to come right back down on them. And that, my friends, is what sinks religion, sinks people, sinks businesses. Anybody that acts like that, it sinks them. There's a certain amount of karma involved. And if you don't like the word karma, just go back to the biblical, you will reap what you sow. That's right in the Bible. So that's what we see happening. That's why he starts arguing. The state did not allow him. He argued that the state interfered in religious matters, so the state maintained that Jehovah's Witnesses themselves extensively described their exclusion practices in official communications, reinforcing the state's case, that video. And she stated the state is not concerned with whether there's a biblical principle underlying the restriction of conduct, but that the state is concerned with what happens in practice. And many sources and documentary evidence clearly describes this. There is consensus about the practice of Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide. An enforcement to shun, the state continues. Children are not equipped to make such a choice, and this practice undermines children's rights by exposing them to the potential of severed family ties if they depart from the faith. And the state believes this violates the right to free entry and exit from religious communities, as well as the children's rights. And the end of the state's arguments is the state refutes discrimination claims, explaining that other religious groups have also faced funding cuts under the new Religious and Belief Act enacted in 2021. And Arvik emphasized that this is fairly new law, and we need to see how practice develops. Jehovah's Witness, following the trial, told the Norwegian newspaper Dagen that exclusion is a key reason for his continued membership, stating, then things don't flow out. You either follow the Bible or you don't. He admits that he also experienced firsthand how this can affect you. And no one is saying this is not difficult. We do not hide that. And at the end of the day, Vartland released 2 articles, one expressing the state's argument for the day, and another interviewed Gunnar M. Slidell, an assistant secretary general of the committee from Vartland. And they stated this is not about agreeing with exclusionary practice of Jehovah's Witnesses. What we're concerned about is the human rights of this group. And he also argued that Jehovah's Witnesses are being mistreated compared to other religious communities and are calling on the Court of Appeal to deliver a better assessment of the core points in the case and what freedom of religion means in practice. Okay, so now we move on. Day 3 of the appeal will be the witnesses and the cross-examination. Courtroom K33. And where they make their opening statement. Now here's the closing comments for day 2. The state came in like a well-prepared prosecutor, systematically, make sure you guys can see that, systematically picking apart Jehovah's Witnesses defense with their own texts. You know, you play that video they deleted, that's easy, right? Armed with Watchtower excerpts and legal precedent, the government made its case crystal clear. Faith can't operate outside the bounds of fundamental rights. And the government attorney, Kristen Arvik, didn't mince words. Children will, in most cases, not be equipped to make such a lifelong choice. And the state emphasized that it's not just about how many people get disfellowship, but the fear that this could happen and the consequences it entails. And Jehovah's Witnesses leaned on religious freedom arguments, citing a European court ruling, but the state wasn't buying it. Any interference is authorized by law and is necessary to protect the rights and freedoms of others, the state argued. And with the government on the offense, the witnesses scrambling to defend their stance, the balance of power in the courtroom is tilting toward the state. We will see how things go tomorrow for the cross-examination. Okay, so that's the end of day 2, and you'll have to hit subscribe to be on the video, and we'll be pumping out day 3 and day 4. Each day will have its own video, and the goal here is to get all these videos out online. If you guys can help with subscribing, sharing, and liking, and throwing some comments in, that always helps these videos for YouTube to push them out farther. So this is certainly a landmark for us as XJWs, for our side of the community, the work that's going on in Norway. This has made an effect on this religion. This has made this religion stop in their tracks and start allowing beards and governing body members wearing Norwegian flags as ties. Can you imagine that? And this is what's going on. They're deleting their disfellowshipping videos, although they're getting shown in court, because it started back in 2021 when those videos were valid. But they lost their court case. They delete these videos. They allow beards. They allow women to wear pants. And they soften all the words about shunning. You know, you're just removed, things like that. But if you look in the Elders book, it is all the old language, disfellowship, shunned, all the instructions. If you follow this channel, we talk about it, everything. Nothing goes hidden. Okay, folks, well, until next time, keep living your day with love. And that's the best thing to put in your mind. It really helps ease all of this pain in watching this case. But we have to put a smile on our face. This is the best advertising we can get for XJWs all over the world. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next video.